Welcome back to my series, Dance Mums Uncovered. I've discussed the psychological effects of the show at length in my videos. However, there were also some very questionable working conditions on set that the cast should have never been subjected to, because there was more to the Dance Mums' working conditions than the producers cared to show. Feel free to share your thoughts on the following evidence. First, let's look at labour laws. Several cast members have accused the producers of breaking child labour laws over the years. When Kelly filed a lawsuit against Collins Avenue in 2014, she claimed that they would constantly break these child labour laws. In this document, she says that she began to complain about the girls' insane working schedules back in season 2. Apparently they filmed 60 hours a week, and during competitions on Saturdays, they would often end up filming for 12 hours. If this is true, it is completely illegal. On any given day, kids from the ages of 6 to 8 can only film for 8 hours. Kids aged from 9 to 15 can only film for 9 hours. And kids aged from 16 to 17 can only film for 10 hours. According to Kendall's work permission form that was signed back in 2012, the girls were required to have a 30-minute break for every 5 hours of work. But Kelly claimed in her lawsuit that the kids didn't receive all these necessary breaks. In fact, Giannina from the season 8 cast seemed to confirm this when she mentioned that the only time they weren't filming was when they went home. According to her, the cast was even filmed while they ate lunch, so even if they technically had a break from dancing, they still had to be switched on for the cameras. Even Kalani claimed that the producers used to break child labour laws. She says that this is the reason why they began to do more and more invitational competitions, so that they wouldn't have to stay at them for more hours than they were allowed to film.
The only time there weren't cameras on, either in the different room where they could still hear you, was when you went home, and maybe when you were doing school. But they were always on, even at lunch.
Whenever we go to dance competitions with child labor laws, we can't work more than 10 hours. So if we were at a real dance competition, there's times where you perform at 8 in the morning and then you don't perform until 11:30 at night. And that would not be good. It would be breaking the law, which they did before, but we don't do it anymore.
The permission forms signed in 2013 state that the kids couldn't work before 5 AM or after 10 PM. Well, in the now discontinued season 2, episode 9, Abby keeps Brooke and Paige late in rehearsal to work on the group dance. Earlier in this scene, Kelly mentions that it is 9:45, and Paige becomes upset because she says that she thought they were done. This suggests that Brooke and Paige could have been kept past the regular filming hours on this night. Next, let's explore schooling. It has been revealed that there were actually lots of instances where the Dance Mums cast was forced to skip school to film, especially in the early seasons of the show. According to the production notes written about Season 1, Episode 1, Vivi skipped school to attend her initial ALDC audition. A few pages further into this document, Christi claims that Abby sent her an email asking her to pull Chloe out of school so that they could have a solo private. Abby herself has admitted that she used to do this for Maddie to help her learn her solos without telling the other mothers. This actually resulted in some serious consequences though. In a magazine article, Maddie admitted that she missed 50 days of school in 1 year, even though her principal said she was not allowed to miss more than 12. In a recent episode of the Sibling Revelry podcast, Maddie and Mackenzie revealed that they were actually kicked out of their school for missing too many days. This could be the real reason why Maddie and Mackenzie had to switch to homeschooling in season 4.
A mother was willing to go get their kid out of school at lunch and gym and recess and bring them to the studio, learn half the solos, sneak them back without anybody on the TV show knowing. They learned half their solo. Well, no wonder they won.
Filming was really hard for the girls who attended school full-time as well. Brooke took honours classes and had to stay up until 1 AM almost every night to get her homework finished. Kelly says that the reason why Brooke messed up the Rosa Parks group dance was because it was finals week and she was prioritising her schoolwork.
And I'm usually up until 1 in the morning doing my homework.
You know, one time Brooke messed up on
Rosa Parks.
and that was that was finals week. Like that was finals week at school, and Brooke takes all honors classes and is a straight A student.
Evidence number 3, forbidden absences. Both in podcasts and in the production notes for the show, it has been revealed that Mackenzie was eager to try other activities outside Dance Mums, including karate, soccer, and simply quitting dance altogether to be a normal kid. The girls even missed out on trick-or-treating on Halloween sometimes because they were so busy filming. They begged to go one year and were given permission to do so, but had to dress as themselves because they didn't have time to organise any costumes. Christi has pointed out that they never really got to simply enjoy moments on the show.
You happened to just be on a reality show, so you couldn't get out of it?
I tried
contracted there.
I literally tried getting out of it to play soccer, and I couldn't. They wouldn't let me. She's tried to quit dance multiple times and just couldn't really get out of it.
And the girls wore their dance competition,
Their
with
jogging
their jackets,
suits.
with their names on
with
it.
their
yeah.
names, because
And I remember that.
they begged for us to go home because we weren't supposed to go home or something.
Cute.
But the girls wanted to go so bad because they never got to do that fun stuff.
Well, we were traveling every Halloween.
I wish we had more opportunity to enjoy the good stuff. We never got to enjoy any of the good stuff in the moment.
The permission form from 2012 also states that kids cannot be forced to attend a rehearsal or performance if their guardian objects to it. So why didn't the mums pull their kids out of the show more often? Kelly insists that when Paige's anxiety got really bad, she told the producers that she didn't want Paige to continue filming. Well, according to Kelly, Collins Avenue threatened to sue her if she didn't show up for filming, so she had no choice but to continue with the show. 4. Hazardous environment. Some of the conditions on set could have caused severe harm to the cast members. During the week of the Bermuda Triangle dance in season 8, the competition got really mad because the ALDC routine using water was really dangerous. Not only were the kids who were in the routine at risk, but anyone who danced after them could be at risk of slipping if the water wasn't mopped up from the stage correctly. According to Liliana, it took them an hour to convince the competition staff to let them perform it.
It was really dangerous and the competition got really mad at us.
The competition was so mad, and it took us like literally an hour before we could actually go on stage. We were standing backstage for like an hour.
They almost didn't let us do it.
Lilly has also said that Abby would make her hold contortion poses for way too long. In some of these positions that she was in, she couldn't breathe. Despite this, Abby would tell her not to stop. This seems like a really dangerous teaching technique because if Liliana was to lose consciousness in one of these positions, she could fall in a really bad way. There were also a ton of criminal accusations and convictions against people who spent time on the Dance Mums set. These include 2 cases of fraud, 1 case of drug dealing, 2 cases of theft, a case of domestic abuse and criminal mischief, and most disturbingly, 3 different men who worked with the kids were later accused of sexual misconduct in various forms with minors. Cathy has mentioned that the contract that she signed for Collins Avenue declared that they would not be responsible in the event of injury, accident, or even death.
I'm just confused. I always remember that Abby would make me stay in the contortion poses for so long that I was like, you're dying. She's like, and then she'd be like, don't come down. I'd be like, I don't know if you noticed, but like to live, you have to breathe.
When I signed the contract, it did state they wouldn't be responsible for accidents or injury or death, and I was like, holy cow.
Perhaps this is the reason why they didn't often feel deeply compelled to ensure the safety of their cast members. Plus, if they do get injured, it's more drama for the show, which is honestly quite sickening to think about. And finally, we have overworking. The environment on Dance Mums encouraged the dancers to keep performing, even when it wasn't healthy for them to do so. For instance, in Season 1, Episode 1 of Dance Mums, Maddie was sick in rehearsal. According to the production notes written about this episode, Maddie felt sick because she hadn't eaten all day. It is terrible for an 8-year-old to be made to work so hard that she doesn't have enough time to eat. But what makes it even worse is that Maddie expressed a lot of fear that Abby would be mad at her for feeling sick. This kind of unhealthy perseverance has followed cast members after they left the show too. JoJo was performing at a drive-by concert last year, and she had to sing through the break she was supposed to have. An hour and a half into it, she took her shoes off, and her socks were all bloody. She ended up performing for 3 hours straight, and by the end she had a giant blood blister on the bottom of her foot.
It got to be like they were running like a little bit behind because I think the cars were like driving slower than they had anticipated, which was totally fine. And they're like, can JoJo just go straight through for the 2 hours and not take a break? And I was like, yeah, that's totally fine. I'm like, are you cool to do that? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. She's like, I got a question for you though. I'm like, what? She's like, can I take my shoes off? I go, yeah, absolutely. I pull them off and her socks are like bloody. And I'm like, don't feel like you have to run and turn and do all this. And she's like, I got this, Mom, you know, like whatever. Okay. So we come back into the trailer after performing for, I think it was like 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 15 minutes. And she takes her socks off. It's so bad. Oh no. The sides of her feet are open blisters from the shoes she had on, and the whole bottom of her foot is a blood blister.
While it's professional and admirable to work through challenges, these are kids we're talking about, and their safety should always be the #1 priority. So what do you guys think? Do you think the girls deserved a better working environment? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.